Hi all, it's Jan of the Jan Files. Thank you for being here. I'm surprised because my algorithm right now is awful. So today I am going to try to swear less to see if that has any impact on the algorithm. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and follow me, like the videos, because this is crazy what's going on. I don't know how deliberate all of this is, but whatever. So I'm going to try to be less salty, as people have called me. So one of the things I really want to go through is what are the legal things that are happening in reference to the Epstein file. So there are a couple big things. There are some, settlements, really don't get to the heart of what needs to happen. It compensates the victims, which is a great thing. But in terms of actually holding others accountable, has nothing to do with it. So the first one is Bank of America settled for 72.5 million. 75, I gather, survivors will benefit from this. They're still waiting for the final sign off. The reason they are having to pay is just like JP Morgan had to pay, is because they allowed this abuse to continue. They had an information that, in terms of the transactions, that there was problematic, and they did nothing. So that's one of that. There's another settlement, and this time it's with two people that were part of and are also the executors of Epstein's estate, which is Darren Indyke and Richard Kahn, and they have to. They settled for another $35 million from the estate. And the reason this is a 2024 class action accusing them of helping build a web of shell companies and bank accounts that funded and concealed his abuse. Now, okay, there is no criminal prosecution here. These two guys testified in front of the oversight committee and lied. Come after me, guys, because yeah, you lie, period. And so this is another, they're well within all of this web. Now, the other one that was, let me see, sorry. Oh, okay. So no, that's really the settlement. Now we have the New Mexico Attorney General and their bipartisan commission are suing Todd Blanche and the DOJ because they're refusing literally to turn over files to another attorney general, right? To another lawful representative of New Mexico, and they're denying them the information. Cover up, okay? Just say cover up. And then Katie Fang is probably the one that's pushing this hardest in terms of what we might see sooner. She's got a case against Todd Blanche and the DOJ, and it's gone back and forth several times. They have a great judge, Judge Emmett Sullivan, who is just a really good judge, highly respected. So we're waiting for him to react to Katie Fang's order, which she produced yesterday. So that order asked for Blanche and the DOJ to come back with the files that they're supposed to come back with on the 25th of August. That's where that stands. And then two more big ones. There are a bunch of survivors that are suing, and they're suing the FBI and DOJ for their lack of following up when these kinds of crimes were reported decades ago by these women. So that lawsuit was just filed. It was not dismissed. The FBI asked for it to be dismissed. The judge said no. So that is going forth, at least at this point. And finally, there was Virginia Giuffre, who I'm sure most of you know her name. She committed suicide in April of 2025. Was probably the loudest, most prominent victim, and she really took on the mantle of fighting back. Well, she sued Ghislaine Maxwell for, just sued her, for defamation. And so that case was settled. All of the documents coming from that case are going to be released. Even though Maxwell doesn't want that to happen, it's going to happen because the Epstein Transparency Act trumps anything that she's claiming. So that's the update on Epstein and what's happening right now. Now, what I want to talk to you about is what I'm finding the more I listen to people I know, more I listen to, or more I read and see on social media. There are so many people who really do not understand the depth of depravity of this administration. I know that's hard to believe, but there's so many people who think politics doesn't affect me, which is likely probably the biggest, stupidest lie. Well, whatever, lie or delusion that people have about politics. It doesn't impact me. My vote doesn't matter. And nothing could be further from the truth. But I also understand right now there's a lot coming out. And we have an obligation. And I'm going to do more of this because sometimes I engage and I just say something and it gets lost with all the people that are posting videos and different things. I suggest, folks, that those of us who are just kind of on social media and supporting one another, which is very important, that we get more specific. And that, so for instance, in the Epstein files, let's not just say release the Epstein. Let's say more. Let's get to the cover up continues. And then maybe post a headline, post a link, whatever. But we have a job. And we've never had a more important job, and that's educating those people around us, even those who are like-minded, because too often I find that people don't know things. And I understand that I have a lot of time, that I'm committed to doing this. But right now, I'm not sure that there's a more important thing for any one of us to be doing. Okay? We have to talk about Epstein files. We have to talk about the war in Iran. We have to talk about our soldiers, our military being harmed by Department of Defense. Okay, we have to talk about that, especially that, a lot. Okay, we also have to talk about Black history being wiped. They want to wipe Black history away. They want to take it out of our museum. That is a big deal. Oh, well, I slipped one. Anyway, that's a big deal. And so it's part and parcel of the whole idea of not allowing people to vote. The gerrymandering that's gone on is incredible. The lying that's gone on, the attempt to, defranchise so many voters by gerrymandering by the Republicans. We have to be on it. And that's all I can tell you. And we have to do more with more information. I mean, there are other things I'm going to be talking about soon, like the amount of Black people that have been lynched in the past couple of years. And I say lynched. I don't say they committed suicide. I don't believe. And we have to talk about Nolan Wells' case. There are so many things out there. Yes, we have to talk about Natalie Hart and how she didn't have a security clearance. That whole security, national security, is also another area that's really ripe to talk about. How that we are now vulnerable in ways we were not before. Now, I'm going to talk about that too. But right now, let's just do our best to really hone in and educate those around us. I mean it, even husbands and wives and girlfriends and boyfriends and children who vote. That's a big deal, folks. Make sure if you have 18-year-olds in your life that they are registered to vote and they get an absentee ballot if, for instance, they're in college, okay, and they're not home. We have a responsibility to make sure that happens. So with all that said, I think I only swore once. So let's see what happens. Stay safe. Take care.